For the show, for example, this season, every script seemed to begin with, Rachel enters wearing a towel. And I said, nope, not doing it anymore. Not doing it. And I called the creator. I was like, it's just gratuitous. We get it. You've already seen it once. So I think at a certain point, you feel empowered enough to just say no, right? And I think it's a challenging thing to do if you don't know your worth and your value, but for women to speak up. Look, as an auditioning actress years ago, you're so hungry for work, of course you're willing to do things like.
All right, guys, so I promise you, I really did not want to talk about this topic. However, news is slow today, and I just cannot help but to talk about this topic after I stumbled across this footage exposing Meghan Markle for the hypocrite and the joke, non-serious person that she is, after coming out here on her podcast, Archetypes, and discussing how she felt like a bimbo. She felt sexually objectified on the show Deal or No Deal when she was a briefcase girl, right? She was one of the girls that was assigned to open a briefcase when people, guessed what briefcase they want to open to potentially win money. You know what you sign up for, right? When you get into that type of job. However, Meghan Markle wanted to discuss this on her podcast. And I want to go ahead and play a snippet of her discussing this. Take a look.
I ended up quitting the show. Like I said, I was thankful for the job, but not for how it made me feel, which was not smart. And by the way, I was surrounded by smart women on that stage with me, but that wasn't the focus of why we were there. And I would end up leaving with this pit in my stomach, knowing that I was so much more than what was being objectified on the stage. I didn't like feeling forced to be all looks and little substance. And that's how it felt for me at the time, being reduced to this specific archetype.
Yeah, so surprisingly here, guys, most of the response I've seen in the mainstream liberal media in regards to Meghan Markle's comments are not good, right? Even women are not agreeing with her, including the women who were on Deal or No Deal, and even a cackling hen on The View, specifically Whoopi Goldberg, is disagreeing with Meghan Markle's comments. Take a look.
Also in California, Meghan Markle has just released another podcast in which she talks about leaving the show where she got her first big break. She says she was treated like a bimbo.
It was Meghan Markle's first major TV gig.
Meghan, open the case.
As a briefcase model on the game show Deal or No Deal. 16 years later, the Duchess of Sussex is now revealing why she left during her second season.
I ended up quitting the show. I was so much more than what was being objectified on the stage. I didn't like feeling forced to be all looks and little substance.
Meghan details what went on behind the scenes during her latest podcast titled Breaking Down the Bimbo.
There were different stations for having your lashes put on or your extensions put in or the padding in your bra. There was a very cookie-cutter idea of precisely what we should look like.
The models were known for showing lots of skin, wearing skimpy dresses and high heels. But today, two of Meghan's former castmates are hitting back on social media. Deal or No Deal never treated us like bimbos, writes Claudia Jordan. I'm especially protective of Howie Mandel, who was nothing but kind and respectful. Patricia Cara, who appeared in every episode, also tweeted, funny, I remember a group of hardworking, strong-minded, independent women. Meghan says she wants more for her daughter with Prince Harry, 16-month-old Lilibet.
I want my Lily to want to be educated and want to be smart and to pride herself on those things.
I just want to say that on that show, you basically had a suitcase and they wanted to know, is this the deal you want or this is not the deal you want? I don't know that the people who are sitting there are thinking about you like that. They're thinking, I want the money. Let me have it. Because Vanna White is always in something interesting and beautiful, and she's been doing this. And the objectification might be coming from you and how you felt about how these women were being portrayed. And that's what you have to change, because we're performers. When you're a performer, you take the gig.
Yeah.
You take the gig. Sometimes you're in a bozo suit. Sometimes you got a big nose. And this is just the way it is. We're not journalists. We're actors. We're trying to get to another place. You left, and that was your prerogative. But I feel bad because I don't think that people were looking at these girls like this. I think people want the money.
But Whoopi, why is it that every game show has a guy running it, pretty much, except for yours maybe, and a couple of others, and some gorgeous woman turning letters or holding a box?
I mean, they all were
because
beautiful.
they
And every show is like that. Pat Sajak, they're all talking,
but
and
again,
Vanna turns the thing. She just touches it.
They had no big girls. They had little, skinny, tiny.
Well, that's TV,
pretty
baby.
models.
But what did you think you were going to? You know, that's what the show was.
I agree with that. She took the job. She needed the gig. And I also appreciate that she said, well, this makes me feel bad.
Yes.
I'm going to walk away.
Yes.
And she walked away. And I think that's the
she had a choice.
point.
You know, that's a great point. My point is, if you see it, and that's how you feel, just maybe you don't want to make the other women feel bad, because maybe they're not, maybe they're trying to make a living too.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the only few times in my life in which I actually agree with Whoopi, right? And the only reason I'm doing this video, because I couldn't help it. This is absolutely hilarious. Again, it really reveals how unserious somebody like Meghan Markle is, who, in my opinion, loved being on Deal or No Deal. She loved being objectified, right? She loved the money, right? She loved getting paid, having a job, trying to become an actor, doing what, actors do when you're trying to move up in the game, right? Because just 2 years later, Meghan Markle did a scene on 90210 that seems to suggest that she was, in fact, more concerned about getting ahead in the acting game than being objectified. Take a look. Yeah, so here we have Meghan Markle, who was complaining about feeling so objectified, being reduced to a dumb woman, a bimbo on Deal or No Deal. She had to quit. I quit because of this, right? I stood up for myself, right? Just 2 years later, she had no issues doing a scene in which it appears that she was giving Sloppy Top 3000, sucking the life force energy out of some dude in a car. But who knows? Maybe she rationalized doing that scene, because that is a scene where she had to use her head, okay? So maybe that's the type of roles she wanted. She wanted more roles in which she was using her head, and that's exactly what she got, right? She had no issues doing a scene that literally sexually objectifies her. It plays on that stereotype much more than what she did on Deal or No Deal. I mean, I don't have a problem with women who dress nice and showing a little bit of skin, right? I mean, it's a classy kind of way that they're doing it on Deal or No Deal and on these game shows. They don't have their breast out, their butt out, right? It's legs, it's arms. It's classy. It's a little eye candy. We know why you're there, but it's not anything that, it's too out there, right? So she complained about that, but she had nothing to say about this. Again, a role that she took, a scene that she did 2 years after leaving Deal or No Deal, right? Boy, I'm telling you, man, these people, again, they're not serious, right? They're unserious people. These so-called feminists, right? These radical feminists, these climate activists, these woke activists, they're not serious people, right? Because somebody like Meghan Markle, she's more concerned about the victim card, acting like she's so oppressed even though she's not, okay? She's one of the most privileged people to ever live, ever, right? She's one of the most privileged people on the planet now, okay? And she continues to try to play this victimhood thing, and it's like, you're not a victim, right? Nobody's going for this. Okay, you know exactly what you signed up for when you was on Deal or No Deal. You know exactly what you signed up for when you did that scene. You wanted the money, right? Like all the women wanted, you wanted the money and you enjoyed it. You liked it. Or put it this way, you didn't dislike it enough not to do it, right? You didn't dislike it enough not to do it. Again, this is just like, you know, an adult star complaining about the fact that the director is telling them, look, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do all this stuff, right? You turn around and you're now complaining, saying that you felt objectified, you felt put down, you felt like, you know, a bimbo or whatever after you signed up for a role that you knew what it was. You knew that the only reason you're there is because you're a sexual object, right? You knew that. And you were happy when you were getting paid. You were happy to take that. Nobody made you do that. Nobody forced you to do that. But she understood, like a lot of these women understand, that, hey, if you're trying to get into acting, right, hey, there's some things that you just got to do, right? There's some roles that you just got to play. And if you don't want to play those roles, fine. Nobody's forcing you to do that. But if you're going to play those roles and get paid, don't turn around and complain about it and expect people to boo-hoo whine and feel bad for you because you had to do those things in that role. Because, again, you knew what you were signing up for. Nobody made you do that, right? So, again, that scene coming out, right, that being exposed after that whole, you know, podcast thing and her complaining about how she felt so bad on Deal or No Deal, it's just absolutely hilarious. I couldn't help but to show you guys, because again, it really does show you how unserious a lot of these people are. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.